Good evening, everybody. My name is Chantay. Welcome to a weekly review of this week's political headlines. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Everything I do is free. Everything I do is free of charge. Or you can follow me on Instagram or Twitter, and you can do that. So I'm just going to get right into it as of right now. So here we go. So the coronavirus stats, you can find these numbers on coronavirus.jhu.edu. Global confirmed cases is 150,972,476. Global death toll is 3,176,054. U.S. death toll is 32,345,038. And U.S. death toll is 575,921. So those are the numbers. And unfortunately, cases keep counting. And hello to you, Sky. In terms of the vaccinations, as we speak, according to the State of the Union address, which I'm going to get into, over 220 million people have been vaccinated here in this country. How cool does that sound? Sound good to me? And I'm one of the few people that have been, including I'm in that 220 million that have been vaccinated. I'm not fully vaxxed, but I started my first dose yesterday. I took Moderna. My clinic actually had Moderna because I had the chance to go to a mass site. I just choose to go to my clinic because when I found out from my telehealth appointment that my clinic had the shots, I was just like, hell, let me go to my clinic and get that vaccine, that Moderna. And it was nice. It was easy and smooth. I don't like needles. If you don't know me, I hate needles. I detest needles since I was a child, and I'm in my 30s. I still hate it to this day. So, but I got it done. So that's dose number 1. My next dose is on May 27th, and I don't know how the second vaccination feels. Some people had different experience. Some people say they're feeling it. Some people say they were fine. Some people say they just had mild symptoms. Now, my mild symptoms include my sore arm, because I went to the store. I couldn't carry nothing on this arm, so I had to carry something on my right arm. And I also had a slight headache, but I took Tylenol. I took 4 Tylenols. I took 2, and I took a nap, and I took another one. So I'm fine. I'm good. So I feel fine. So tomorrow I'll be okay. But to everyone out there, and I'm telling you, please get vaccinated. I just spoke to my mom. My mom's going to be on the list. My dad's going to be on the list, and my sister's going to be on the list. They all not going to get vaccinated at the same time, which is crazy. Hey, Kay, they're not going to get vaccinated at the same time because my sister is still recovering from her surgery. She had a very critical surgery that she almost died. So they need to rotate. One take the vaccine 1 week, one takes it another, and takes it another. But they're going to be fully vaxxed by the summertime. So that's good. But in terms of the president's address, I normally would say State of the Union, but he's only been in there for 3 months. So it's his first first address to the joint Congress. And he says some really powerful things. I didn't get the chance to take any notes, but I was watching. I was tweeting. I was on Facebook, and I was listening. And this administration has got a lot of things done within their 3 months versus the previous administration who just talked so much shit and didn't get anything done. Thank you, Kay. She's doing pretty fine. She's making a miraculous recovery. But, the last administration just talked a lot of shit about their predecessors, who their predecessors actually did shit. But the former vice president, who is now the president, and the vice president, they actually are getting shit done. The main thing was to tackle coronavirus, which they're still tackling coronavirus. Hey, Kay, Wolf, they're still tackling coronavirus, right? Because even though people are getting vaccinated, there are still states that seen surge in their hospitals and surge in cases. And the director of the CDC said there is going to be possibly another wave. because the election's about to happen sometime soon. And a lot of these cities and states want to fully open at 100%, or some of them probably did. Honestly, I don't think that's a good idea because we're still not out of the woods. We still got to wear a mask because this disease is still here. And pandemics, if you study and read about pandemics, they last about 2 years. This one may last 2.5. Because if everybody wears their mask, get vaccinated and still wear their mask, there's a slimmer chance that we could be out of the woods earliest, I say, by Christmas, maybe into next year. It's not going to be the summer. So don't be wishing and hoping, because it ain't happening. Even though some of us will be fully vaxxed, I will still be quarantined. I will quarantine myself. Yet more people do need to get vaccinated. And you would think it's people of color that don't want to get vaccinated, even though there's a small number of them. It's more so Republican white men. For some reason, I have no idea. None. Are they mad because a black woman basically, what is it? She basically developed this vaccine? Is that what it is? Who knows? But those same Republican men that's watching Fox News and watching Newsmax, all those motherfuckers got vaccinated. Tucker's vaccinated, Hannity's vaccinated, fully vaccinated, and Donald Trump and his wife are fully vaccinated. Yeah, they're fully vaccinated. Fully vaccinated. So, I wish those Republican men will go get that shot ASAP. And also, this administration is going to make preschool free, universal preschool free, which is free here in New York. That's the only one good thing this dumbass mayor did. And have more parents to get more access to childcare. And also make community colleges free, something that President Obama pledged to do, but unfortunately he couldn't do it. And what else? Let's see. Because President Biden said a lot of things, the stimulus package. He also talked about the American Jobs Plan, which is a blue collar plan. He also talked about the infrastructure, which broadband needs to be much better, because I can tell you now, going to visit my family in South Carolina, the broadband sucks. It's like shitty. It's terrible. And versus the broadband in New York, which is good, but it can be much better in New York because certain places in the city you can't get good reception. Like, I live on the Upper West Side, but I live by the water. And my reception is a little wonky sometimes with my cell phone reception, but my internet is good. Well, like I said, there's a lot of good things happening. And also, Vice President Harris has more jobs to do, which, I mean, when the president was the vice president, then Vice President Biden was appointed to a lot of things, and one of them was overseeing the implementation of the ACA and the Economic Recovery Act, which the Economic Recovery Act back then was the first priority. This priority this time around is COVID-19, which the president oversees the stuff with COVID-19. Also getting H1 and HR1 passed through the Senate, then back to the House for the final vote. Also, the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. More bills to tackle the racial inequality that we have faced in this country for the last 400 years. Also, getting state. He didn't mention statehood, DC statehood, which I'm going to get into that part in a minute. Kay, don't worry about that. And it's also he mentioned a couple other things. Only thing he didn't mention was student loans. And a person who I checked my student loans, it's in the 70s. And the reason why he didn't mention student loan, because that's not the first priority. As much as I want my loans forgiven, from undergrad to grad school, The main priority is getting vaccinated and getting this virus under control. And then he can talk about forgiving student loans, which he is open to that. And also making public colleges free, 125,000. I mean, parents that make 125,000 and less. He did talk about that. So I don't know why these so-called progressives are getting their panties in a bunch. But they're going to be talked about a little later in this thing. But let me read some of the comments. As long as Manchin is acting dumb, nothing will get done. So here's the thing with Joseph Manchin III. And yes, I'm saying his whole name. Joseph Manchin III, all of a sudden, is against everything. For some reason, I have no idea. The last time I checked, the same Joseph Manchin III, the same guy, the same Democrat who could work on both sides of the aisle, the same one voted for the ACA back in, 2009, 2010? He ain't say nothing about that? Huh? He confirmed, Sotomayor and Kagan without a problem. Everything that President Obama did, he wasn't really against. So what the fuck is the problem now? When Donald Trump was in there, you made sure you passed through all his agendas, right? Most of his agendas. You put the most unqualified people on the Supreme Court bench. The same Joseph Manchin III. Confirmed all his stupid ass cabinet picks mostly. Yeah, Joseph Manchin III did. And did not speak out on none of his racial and intense and divisive rhetoric. You was quiet as a church mouse. Now all of a sudden that Joseph Manchin III has a Democratic leader as his president. His former colleague in the Senate, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., and his other former Senate colleague, Kamala Harris, both President Biden and President Harris are in the office. Now he got a fucking problem because the people have spoken and put them in there to pass these bold progressive agendas. Now you have all this smoke. Now you don't want DC a statehood because the reason is because it's black people in DC. That's the most populated, and I'm going to say state in this country that is mostly black. That's why people like Joseph Manchin III, Tom Cotton, and the rest of the gang are against DC statehood because there will be 2 more senators, more than likely Democratic. And that's what's so freaky and scary. A change in America. 2 black senators. Oh my God. There needs to be more black senators. That Senate is too, translucent. And I don't understand what power he has. His only power he has is holding up legislation, not siding with your caucus. Because Joseph Manchin III also don't want his friends to turn on him. His Trump-loving friends to turn on him. Or his Trump-loving governor. Who also said something stupid today about transgender folks. And he signed a bill banning transgender, women to participate in girls' sports. But his state ranks below 45 in almost everything, in education and healthcare and all that shit. Yeah. And in addition to, white man craziness from some moderate and conservative Democrats, you have Timothy Eugene Scott. If you don't know that name, it's AKA Tim Scott of South Carolina, the junior senator that represents that state, had the audacity to get on television this past Wednesday to say this country is not racist. Stoked controversy so bad that he was trending for 2 days and being dragged for the name that he was called. And like I said, I did not call him that name. He is a Benedict Arnold, but I did not call him the other name, the Uncle Tim and Uncle Tom. I didn't call him that. But I did drag him for the traitor that he is. And for the tap dancing ass motherfucker he is. I sure did. And gave him a little basic lesson about his dear leader. Yeah, I did. I did. And I did not call him the N-word. No, I didn't. Not on Twitter. But I did call him the N-word in my Twitter group. I sure did. Because he is a person of a low-class mentality. But Meghan McCain found it her duty to want to scold black people. Oh, she didn't scold anybody. Yes, she did. I felt she scolded me. So as I said to her, and I'm going to say this again, you unqualified Barbie doll, wannabe Barbie doll, even though you don't have the body proportions to be one. You don't get that fucking privilege to tell anybody what to say and how to say things. It's called, let's see, a social media platform. We can say what the fuck we want to say about Tim Scott. We could call him all the fucking derogatory names in the world. Because why? Because he had that coming. When you say shit like that out your mouth and you supported a whole motherfucking racist, you're going to get that smoke. And I'm going to make sure every time when he's on it, I'm going to bring the smoke to him. Anytime he says something fucking stupid, I'm going in. So I would advise the Princess of Arizona to shut her unqualified ass up. Because first of all, you have no business being on the show when you don't have no experience in your expertise. In your expertise. You know your husband. And I'm surprised your husband has not been canceled because your man's plagiarized his whole fucking career. So, Miss Princess of Arizona, don't ever scold black people ever again for being unapologetically black. Sorry I have to rant, but I'm going to read your comments. I saw the video play side by side with the MVP and made it seem like she was on the same page as him. Her comments were different and it was very... Yeah, and that's another thing. That's another thing. Don't ever compare the VP's comments to the GOP senator who is nasty about not caring about racism. Trying to find the word to say, but it was very hard. Don't ever fucking do that. Because the VP made it very clear there is racism in this country. She makes it very clear every time. When they talk about the women's rights to vote, she made it clear that black women like me was not able to vote until 1965. So don't you fucking ever in mainstream media ever trying to make the vice president act like she's some kind of Benedict Arnold. Get the fuck out of here. Absolutely, she's a trans-bathing person. But in terms of the GOP and A racism, you got Mitch McConnell talking about the 1619 Project is promoting racism. And then you got the former Vice President Michael Richard Pence saying the same fucking thing and saying the 1776 Project was addressing the hard racial issues. Excuse me? What? Huh? All these people talking shit about the president's address to the nation are the same motherfuckers that was standing behind an uneducated 6th grade reading level as motherfucking resident of the 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue White House in his racism. And none of y'all assholes did not check him when he said a whole bunch of racist shit and racial dog whistles. Y'all didn't say a motherfucking thing. Where was that energy when Donald Trump called racist assholes 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago, good people, fine people? Nothing, right? Nothing. So I would like for Michael Richard Pence, Kevin McCarthy, let's see, Thomas Cotton, Timothy Scott to all shut the fuck up. Because y'all are standing behind and still standing behind a whole ass racist with George Wallace big energy. So yeah, and more white people with their racism. So I would like to read a tweet that I tweeted and then back and forth, because I'm going to continue to keep exposing this person. Everybody's like, don't spend your time on him. No, it's time to expose the grifters, either if they opposing party or in your party. It's time to expose those hoes. So here we are. So earlier today, in honor of Rudy Giuliani, in honor of other things, I always want to relate back to the original people that I wrote a list about, even though I did wrote a list on those folks. So here it is. According to their Twitter timelines, Breonna Gray, Katie Halper, and Ryan Knight are aligning themselves with white MAGA cult. It's true. And here goes the proud socialist himself. According to your Twitter timeline, you just tweeted propaganda all day for a right-wing capitalist party. Right-wing capitalist party. Hashtag Blue MAGA. I'm going to read that again. According to your Twitter timeline, you just tweeted propaganda all day for a right-wing capitalist party. Hashtag Blue MAGA. So I said this. For someone whose whole platform is to bash the very same party that's helping the American people says a lot about them. The last time I checked, he was once the same right-wing capitalist party. And he was the supporter. He voted for President Obama twice. Hillary Clinton. Yep, he voted for that person. And he supported Elizabeth Warren until he found no use for her, and then jumped on the Bernie train and became a goddamn socialist. A socialist. Ryan Knight is the epitome of anyone who basically goes where the wind blows. Ryan Knight is a person who is a whole fucking grifter. He's an example of a grifter. A person who will go where the wind blows. If it's a trend, he will go where the trend goes. Being a white male socialist is cool. Oh, I want to be one too. That's Ryan Knight. And all the stuff he says, you can actually do research on the stuff. It makes no sense. Like, I just gave a whole definition of what liberalism is, because he thinks it's just a right-wing center thing, and it's really not. It actually derives off of populism. But this goes to show that Ryan Knight, I don't know if he paid attention to school or he ever went to college or ever graduated from high school, because you wouldn't be tweeting stupid shit that you do. If anybody's platform is a whole entire propaganda, a Russian propaganda, is Ryan Knight's. Mine is just critiquing and criticizing people in both parties who find they need to pander to people that look like me or feel like they know more than I do. Yeah, that's my timeline. And I also bring receipts with it, if you follow me. So, to debunk this whole my platform is Blue MAGA and is a right-wing capitalist propaganda. Let me just explain something to you, Mr. Knight, aka Mr. Proud Socialist. If you look at my full timeline, I actually have cited sources to back my shit up. That's one. Two, I'm highly educated. I got my degree in business, and I am about to obtain a master's in the same field. I have worked in nonprofit administration for the last 13 years of my life. There's a LinkedIn profile. I'm actually kind of public. My profiles are pretty public. And I did minor in history in my collegiate years. So, I mean, I'm not a propagandist, unlike you, who's also a grifter, like you, because I'm not none of that shit. So I would like for you, Mr. Knight, to not ever come for a person like me unless you got cited sources. But as I said, you can always invite me to your podcast and I can easily debunk every fucking thing that comes out your mouth. Because I know you a fraud ass motherfucker. And it's sad because Sabby, who also tried to scold me and call my vice president Copula, is actually being fooled and grifted by you. She's in the sunken place. So what you're doing to my people, Mr. Knight, you're raping my people for money. It's wrong. It's so sad. But the next time when you come for me with that populist, right-wing capitalist bullshit, make sure you have cited sources. But until then, shut the fuck up. So that's that. But overall, I would like to say this about the white male bro socialists, because this is for them. You guys are not allies to black people. You will never be an ally to black people. You guys are the fakest ass allies I ever seen in my life. Ever. The way you guys talk, you guys don't make no sense. You guys don't listen to black people when they're talking about their experiences with racism and everything. You always want to add your 2 fucking cents to everything and then want to write books and shit. And then do podcasts and shit. And thinking that you are an ally. No, motherfucker. No. I see you. I see you. You writing a book to study about people like me and then make money off it. No. So, you bro socialist ass bums, you can take that book and that intellectual shit and shove it up your fucking ass. Because you will never, ever get the likes of me to ever support you. And that's that. But I want to, move on to one more thing. So if you live in New York City or if you've been paying attention to the mayor's thing, has been national politics, and it's just so annoying to the point where I'm getting annoyed. As much as I'm supporting Maya Wiley, I want her to step her pickle up. I see that she's doing a stroll tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to make it or not because I have some things to do. Saturday's my errand day to run. But she's trying to make some inroads. She's trying to do that. But she needs to do a little bit harder. But she needs to stop saying, I relate to these women. We don't need that. As a black woman, we don't need that. We just need you to make sure that you are equipped and qualified to run. Because the last person that ran like that was Elizabeth Warren. And you see where it didn't get her nowhere. So that's my advice to you. But you are making inroads to, go do your strolls up in Harlem and shit. But you need to stop saying, I relate, no, to these women when they feel, nope, don't do that. Don't. But in terms of Scott Stringer, who's also mentioned some deep shit, which he gonna call for somebody's resignation, need to look at his own self, and nobody likes him, by the way. And Andrew Yang, we're not even gonna go there. We know he's gonna be a lost cause. I'm just waiting for the live debates, because they had a radio debate, but I'm waiting for the live debates that is coming up in May. That's gonna be some shit. And it's gonna be live on Spectrum. Like I said, I got Optimum on my tablet, but I will be watching that. And trust me, I'm looking at Maya and Eric, because those are the candidates I'm supporting. And if you got a problem with me supporting two candidates, I don't know what to tell you, because those are the two candidates I see that has a great vision for New York City. We've been longing for a black mayor, and it's time that we get one. And if you calling me a motherfucking shill for, siding with Eric Adams, you can kiss my ass. Because I'm going to support the two candidates regardless. So suck my... Okay? Thank you. But until then, folks, I'll see you next week. You have a wonderful weekend. Stay masked up. And if you get vaccinated tomorrow, keep hope alive. I pray for you.